What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. Okay, guys, well, I wanted to talk quickly about SPS and specifically the proposal passed a couple of months ago to get SPS on a major exchange. Now, there were two versions of that. The first one was a little vague. The second one came back with a little bit more detail, as well as the approval and support of the community leaders, which actually gave 30 million SPS up for a major exchange listing. And I would assume that that would include, but not be limited to, but most likely include in the short list would be Binance and Coinbase. So obviously, this has been a very interesting week for both Binance and Coinbase, as the SEC is, the regulator here in the U.S. or regulators in the U.S. are going heavily after both of those platforms. So the question then becomes, what do we do about that proposal? And is there a way to take it back? Is it worthwhile to put forth another proposal that essentially negates the previous one? Because I'll be honest, as a stakeholder, as an SPS stakeholder, and I'm not a whale, but I got a decent amount, and I'm proud of the stack that I've built and excited about having that, having that kind of say and governance in the game and the project and the future of it. I don't think that this is the right time to necessarily be listing with both, with actually either of them. And we even see some gaming tokens that were included in both of those lawsuits against Binance and against Coinbase. So I kind of wanted to bring this up again, and I know I've seen some conversation about it circulating around, but for people who may have checked out for a couple of months or who may be coming into the game now or whatever the case is, I just wanted to put a reminder out there that there is we voted on a proposal that gives 30 million SPS to list on one of these exchanges. And I don't know where we are in that process, but I think now would be a good time to reach out to Blockchain Founders Fund, to Ali, and to figure out where we're at in that process. And if we are not very far, meaning, the things haven't been signed already or whatever the case is, I would actually say that it's probably best to maybe hold off for a little bit. Now, again, I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing if Coinbase and Binance can get through this, but with all of the eyeballs, the regulatory eyeballs, looking at both of these exchanges, the last thing that I want is for Splinterlands, which is still based in the US, right? It's a US based project. The last thing I want is for them to be put into the crosshairs, because I think what Splinterlands has enjoyed, or, some people will look at this as a negative thing, but what they've enjoyed is a relative, beneath the surface or like a relative like anonymity. Like we are not grouped in with a lot of the top projects, which from a marketing perspective absolutely sucks. And I always ask myself, why are people not paying attention to Splinterlands? What is it out there with all these other games? Why aren't we being included in those lists? Whereas now, ironically enough, it's like, well, it's probably a good thing we're not included with those games until we get some kind of regulatory framework that we can work through. And so until that comes in, I don't think that there is any rush to be put on either of these exchanges. And maybe the argument can be made that, because of the FUD and the uncertainty right now, this is actually a great time. Maybe Binance is like freaking out, Coinbase are freaking out, and it's like, and obviously they're not, but point being is that maybe they'll take, they'll take new projects coming on because they need the capital. I don't really know. That's a weak argument. I'm trying to strongman the other side. But my point is that ultimately, sure, could now be a good time. Were the last couple of months a good time? Yes, they were. And yes, now could be. But with all of the eyeballs and with all of the regulatory uncertainty that lies ahead, I think that there's no need to rush. It's not going to do anything for the game itself. I would rather wait until, I don't know, maybe the end of July to get Tower Defense out, to get Land 1.5 out for, GLG, which is obviously part of the Genesis League platform, or Genesis League Sports platform. Even though that's a completely separate game, I would still want us and the community, the team, to be delivering all this stuff and have that be what drives people into this and grow a little bit more organically while we wait out the fallout, the resolution, or whatever it is from these lawsuits. So that's kind of where my head's at. I'm looking at all of the different exchange listings here. Obviously, crypto.com is one of the more well-known ones, but we do have Gate.io, Huobi, MEXC Global. I don't know that these exchanges are going to get looped in with the Binances and Coinbases of the world, which is probably a good thing for us right now. But if they're starting with Binance and Coinbase, you have to imagine that this is going to set the precedent for a lot of other exchanges, no matter what their size or relation in the U.S. is. So ultimately, that's kind of where my head is at. I do want to hear your thoughts on this. If you think that it is something still worth pursuing. And I'd love to hear your reason for it, right? I tried to give a couple of reasons earlier. Another one that I can think of now is if it takes a lot of time, right? If it takes a couple of months, then restarting the process could be detrimental in the future. But I just currently see absolutely no rush until we get a little bit more regulatory clarity on what the pathway is going to be like for not just crypto, not just DeFi, but gaming projects also. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.